Miami, sunshine, beaches. You know, you wouldn't think it'd be the setting for, well, for a string of murders so chilling they'd make your blood run cold. But that's where we're diving in today, into the case files of the ice truck killer. And let me tell you, we're not talking about your average crime spree here. This killer, he's meticulous, theatrical even. He's leaving this trail of clues that are as baffling as they are gruesome.
Yeah, and that's what makes this whole case, the ice truck killer, so fascinating. It's not just about the act of killing. It's the why, the how, the chilling artistry behind it all. Take the bodies, for example. Drained of blood, amputations performed with almost, you could say, surgical precision. This isn't some crime of passion driven by, I don't know, blind rage. It's controlled, deliberate, almost like a macabre art form.
It's like he's treating the crime scenes like his own twisted art gallery.
Yeah.
And the Polaroids he leaves behind, those are like his calling card. But it's not just the visuals. It's the fact that these photos, they're connected to the victim's past. Almost like he's, I don't know, like he's saying, I've done my research. I know your secrets.
Exactly. It's psychological warfare. It's about instilling fear.
Yeah.
And not just in the victims, but in the entire city.
Yeah.
He's playing a game, right? And the stakes are terrifyingly high.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that hand found on the beach, that seemingly insignificant clue, it speaks volumes. They later discovered that the heart was still pumping when it was severed.
Okay. Now that's just creepy. You're saying he's keeping his victims alive during these horrific acts. What does that say about his state of mind?
Well, it suggests a level of sadism. One that goes beyond the act of killing itself. This isn't just about ending a life. It's about control. It's about having absolute power over another human being. And the fact that he's so meticulous, so deliberate in his actions, well, it suggests a mind that is highly organized, perhaps even compartmentalized.
So not your average impulsive killer then?
Not at all. This is someone who plans, someone who strategizes, someone who enjoys the game as much as, if not more than, the kill itself.
And speaking of games, let's talk about the curveball he throws at the Miami Police Department with Tony Tucci. Remember, the police, under immense pressure to catch this guy, they zero in on Tucci. Citywide manhunt. Media frenzy. The whole 9 yards. But it turns out Tucci is a dead end. A carefully chosen patsy.
And that's where we really see the killer's frustration with the police incompetence, how it bubbles to the surface. It's as if their rush to judgment, their inability to see the bigger picture, it offends him. Like, this isn't just a random act of violence. It's a carefully constructed narrative. Yeah. He's the author, the director, and he doesn't appreciate his masterpiece being misinterpreted.
Wow. So he's got a real God complex going on. But this need for control, for things to go exactly his way, it makes you wonder, what happens when things don't go according to plan?
Right.
It's like our killer throws us all for a loop, because his MO, it takes a turn. He shifts gears from these bloodless scenes, these surgically precise tableaus, and starts leaving body parts in places that have undergone, well, some serious change.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We're talking an old football field being torn down, a mansion undergoing a total, renovation, places where the past is literally being bulldozed to make way for something new.
So what's the connection? Is he just picking locations at random now?
Not at all. Not at all. Remember, this killer, he's all about symbolism. He's drawn to these places because they mirror something happening within himself, a transformation, a shedding of the old, an embracing of something new, and perhaps even more sinister.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. It's like he's saying, like, look at me, I'm evolving just like this city.
Yeah.
But in his case, the evolution is downright terrifying. And there was that crucial moment, right, where Dexter, listening in on a police briefing, cracks the pattern. He realizes the killer is choosing locations that have been transformed.
Exactly. And that's a testament to the killer's, his need to be understood, to have his twisted genius recognized, even by his adversaries. He's not content with simply killing. He wants to engage in this battle of wits to prove his intellectual superiority.
Which brings us to the really personal part of this whole thing, the childhood photos. This killer doesn't just want to control the physical world. He wants to control Dexter's memories, his past. He sends Dexter photos from his own childhood, twisted and manipulated, to fit the killer's narrative.
Yeah, it's a deeply unsettling turn, because it shows this profound understanding of how trauma can shape a person's identity. He's taking something as personal and intimate as childhood memories, and twisting them, perverting them, using them as a weapon to undermine Dexter's sense of self.
And he doesn't just choose any photos. He specifically includes one taken at a water fountain, a place that holds a very, very specific significance for Dexter and his past.
Talk about hitting below the belt. What's the psychology behind that kind of manipulation?
It's about exploiting vulnerabilities, about finding the cracks in someone's armor and prying them open. He's trying to break Dexter down, to force him to confront the darkest parts of himself. It's a twisted form of intimacy, wouldn't you say? It's like he's saying, I see you, Dexter. I see the darkness inside you, and I'm gonna drag it out.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where his true objective, it comes into focus. He's not content with simply being a killer. He wants to create another monster in his own image.
Which leads us to that terrifying showdown. Dexter finally tracks the killer down, but not to another, public spectacle. This time, it's an abandoned hospital. And here's the real kicker, right? The intended victim. He's still alive, strapped to a table, prepped for surgery. But it's not a scalpel the killer hands to Dexter.
No, he presents Dexter with a choice. A chance to take a life and cross that line. That line he's always managed to straddle. It's the ultimate test of Dexter's code. Of his, carefully constructed moral compass.
Talk about psychological pressure. I mean, this isn't just about catching a killer anymore. It's about facing a reflection in the mirror. A distorted reflection, but one that forces you to question everything you thought you knew about yourself.
And in that moment of truth, Dexter makes a choice. He chooses not to kill. He refuses to play the killer's game. It's a rejection of everything this killer represents. It's a defiant act of free will.
So in a way, the ice truck killer, he actually helped Dexter solidify his own code, his own sense of self. That's a strange kind of twisted legacy.
It is. And it speaks to the enduring power of choice. Even in the face of unimaginable darkness. We may not always have control over the circumstances we find ourselves in, but we always have the power to choose who we will become.
And that's a powerful message to end on, don't you think? We've delved into the mind of a killer, explored the darkest corners of human nature, but ultimately this deep dive, it reminds us that even in the face of true evil, we have the power to choose a different path. So until next time, stay curious and stay safe out there.